Welcome to the Ramayan, Stories of Dharm and Devotion. I'm Sandeep, your storyteller, guiding you through the timeless epic of Valmiki's Ramayan. While our narrative is primarily rooted in Valmiki's version, we also incorporate stories from other Indian texts and versions of the Ramayan to offer a wholesome experience of this eternal tale. Today, we take a step back from the unfolding events of the Aranya Kanda to dive deep into the story of Raavan, the King of Lanka. His life is one of ambition, power, and brilliance, but it is also a cautionary tale of unchecked ego and misplaced desires.
Raavan's story begins in a unique confluence of two powerful lineages, the divine intellect of the Brahmins and the fiery resilience of the Rakshas. His father, sage Visravas, was a revered Brahmin sage, descended from the great Pulastya, a mind born of Brahma himself. Visravas embodied wisdom, asceticism, and spiritual power, earning respect among both devas and mortals. On the other hand, Raavan's mother, Kaikeysi, was a Rakshasi princess of the warrior clan. She was the daughter of Sumali, a Rakshas king who had been defeated by the devas and exiled to the underworld. Sumali, nursing his wounds and dreaming of restoring the Rakshas to their former glory, sought a way to secure their future. Sumali's plan was audacious. He decided that the Rakshas needed a protector, someone who could rise above their current plight and lead them to supremacy in the three worlds. But he knew strength alone would not suffice. The Rakshas needed a child who would combine unmatched power with divine intellect. And so, Sumali sought out sage Visravas. At first, Visravas hesitated to marry Kaikeysi. Her fiery Rakshas nature seemed incompatible with his ascetic life. However, Sumali's persuasion, combined with Kaikeysi's determination, eventually convinced him. Their union, though unconventional, carried a profound purpose: the birth of a child who would inherit Visravas's spiritual brilliance and Kaikeysi's indomitable Raksha spirit. From this union were born Raavan and his siblings, the mighty Kumbhakarn, the holy Vibhishan, and their sister Surfankha. Each child embodied a unique aspect of their mixed heritage, but none more so than Raavan. From the moment of his birth, it was clear that Raavan was no ordinary child. He possessed immense strength and a sharp intellect, a combination that made him a formidable figure even in his youth. His parents named him Dashanan, or 10 heads, a name that symbolized his boundless knowledge and ability to think from multiple perspectives. Kaikeysi, proud of her son, nurtured him with tales of the Rakshas' once glorious past and their oppression under the devas. She instilled in him a fierce desire to restore the Rakshas' honor. Visravas, meanwhile, ensured that Raavan was well versed in the Vedas, the art of warfare, and the mysteries of the cosmos. It was said that young Raavan could recite the Vedas with the same ease as he wielded his weapon. Yet, beneath his brilliance lay an unquenchable thirst for power, a hunger that would define his life. As Raavan grew, so did his ambition. He looked up to his elder half-brother, Kuber, who had inherited the throne of Lanka. Lanka, the golden city built by Vishwakarma, shone like a beacon of prosperity under Kuber's rule. But to Raavan, Lanka represented more than wealth. It symbolized the Rakshas' rightful destiny. Kaikeysi supported her son's aspirations. She believed that Raavan's rise was the key to fulfilling her father Sumali's vision. She often reminded Raavan of his dual heritage. You are born of a sage's wisdom and a Raksha's warrior strength. Use them to restore the Rakshas to their rightful place in the three worlds. This duality became the cornerstone of Raavan's identity. While he mastered the spiritual arts from his father, he trained in combat with Raksha's warriors, combining strategy with brute force. Raavan's ambition eventually turned to his half-brother, Kuber. Though he respected Kuber's leadership, Raavan saw him as an extension of Deva influence, a ruler unfit to lead the Rakshas. The tension between the brothers reached its breaking point when Raavan demanded Lanka for himself, declaring that it belonged to the Rakshas, not the Devas' allies. When Kuber refused, Raavan waged war against him. With his brother Kumbhakarn by his side, Raavan led a Rakshas army to victory, driving Kuber out of Lanka. From that day, Raavan claimed the throne of Lanka, transforming it into a fortress of Rakshas power and luxury. His brother Kumbhakarn stood loyally by his side in all his adventures. Together, they made Lanka a symbol of Rakshas' resurgence. Raavan's rule was marked by grandeur, but also by an unrelenting drive to dominate the three worlds. Raavan's devotion to Lord Shiv was one of the defining aspects of his character. Though he was a Rakshas, Raavan revered Shiv as his chosen deity, finding solace and strength in the cosmic destroyer's power. His relationship with Shiv was marked by both audacious challenges and profound reverence. One of the most famous tales of Raavan's devotion revolves around his attempt to lift Mount Kailash, Shiv's abode. One day, Raavan, intoxicated by his strength and ambition, once visited the Himalayas and came across the majestic Mount Kailash. His ego swelled at the thought of challenging the mighty mountain, and he decided to lift it as a tribute to his power and devotion to Shiv. Raavan placed his hands under the mountain and began to lift it. The earth quaked, and the gods trembled at his audacity. However, Lord Shiv, amused by Raavan's arrogance, pressed his toe lightly on the mountain. This small gesture was enough to pin Raavan beneath the colossal weight of Kailash. Realizing his folly, Raavan cried out in agony, unable to free himself. But instead of succumbing to anger or despair, Raavan turned to devotion. Trapped under the mountain, he composed the Shiv Tandav Stotram, a hymn praising Shiv's cosmic dance of destruction and creation. His verses were so powerful and heartfelt that they pleased Shiv himself. Moved by Raavan's devotion, Shiv forgave him and released him from the mountain's weight. As a token of his favor, Shiv gifted Raavan the celestial sword Chandrahas, a weapon imbued with divine power, warning him to use it only for righteous purposes. This act solidified Raavan's identity as one of Shiv's greatest devotees, a fact he would proudly declare throughout his life. Raavan's quest for supremacy over the three worlds led him to perform intense penance, tapasya, to please his grandfather, Lord Brahma. The Rakshas king sought invincibility and immortality, desiring to rule over devas, humans, and asuras alike. Raavan's tapasya for Brahma was extraordinary in its intensity. He stood on one leg in the scorching heat, reciting mantras and meditating for years. To demonstrate the depth of his devotion and the seriousness of his plea, Raavan performed an extreme act of self-sacrifice. He began offering his own heads to the sacred fire. Rakshas lore tells us that Raavan had 10 heads, symbolizing his vast knowledge and intellect. One by one, he severed his heads and offered them to the fire as a mark of his devotion. Each time he cut off a head, Brahma restored it, and Raavan resumed his meditation with renewed fervor. After sacrificing all 10 of his heads, Raavan was about to offer his 11th act of penance, his life itself, when Brahma finally appeared, pleased by his dedication and endurance. Brahma, impressed by Raavan's unyielding devotion, offered him a boon. Raavan asked for invincibility against devas, asuras, and other celestial beings. In his arrogance, he overlooked humans and vanaras, monkeys, considering them too insignificant to pose a threat. Brahma granted his request, effectively making Raavan invulnerable to most of the cosmos. This boon, combined with his immense strength, intellect, and mastery over divine weapons, elevated Raavan to the status of a nearly invincible ruler. However, the exclusion of humans and vanaras in his boon would eventually lead to his downfall at the hands of Ram and his army. After earning immense boons from Lord Brahma and acquiring unparalleled might, Raavan's pride knew no bounds. He believed himself to be the supreme ruler of the three worlds, unmatched in power and intellect. During one of his conquests, Raavan decided to visit Kailash, the abode of Lord Shiv, to display his strength and pay his respects to the deity he deeply revered. As Raavan approached the entrance to Kailash, he encountered Nandi, the sacred bull and devoted guardian of Shiv's domain. Nandi, a figure of immense spiritual power and unwavering loyalty to Shiv, stood as a gatekeeper, ensuring that only the worthy could enter the holy abode. Raavan, consumed by arrogance, underestimated Nandi's importance. He looked at the bull-like figure standing at the entrance and laughed mockingly. Why does the great Lord Shiv keep an animal as his gatekeeper? Raavan sneered. Is this the best protector the destroyer of worlds can find? A mere beast to guard the gates of Kailash? Nandi, though calm by nature, was deeply insulted by Raavan's scorn. He stood firm, his eyes blazing with righteous indignation. Raavan, Nandi said, his voice steady but filled with divine authority, your strength and intellect are great, but your pride blinds you. It is not for you to mock the ways of Lord Shiv, who transcends all that you can comprehend. Enraged by Raavan's insolence, Nandi uttered a curse that would shape the destiny of the Rakshas king. You mock me for my animal form, Nandi declared. But remember this, your downfall will come at the hands of beings you consider insignificant, humans and animals. Those whom you deride as weak and unworthy will bring about your destruction. Raavan, still intoxicated by his ego, dismissed the curse with a haughty laugh. He saw humans and animals as inferior beings unworthy of his attention or respect. Let your curse stand, he retorted. No mere mortals or beasts could ever pose a threat to me. With that, Raavan stormed into Kailash to meet Shiv, leaving Nandi's warning behind as a forgotten memory. Though Raavan dismissed Nandi's words, the curse was a pivotal moment in his journey. It foretold the very essence of his downfall. Raavan's arrogance blinded him to the vulnerabilities in his seemingly invincible armor. Nandi's curse began to unfold years later when Ram, a human prince and the incarnation of Vishnu, entered the Dandaka forest with his wife, Sita, and brother, Lakshman. Ram's alliance with the Vanar, monkey, army, led by Hanuman and Sugriv, would ultimately lead to Raavan's defeat. The beings Raavan considered inferior, the very ones he mocked, became the instruments of his destruction. Despite his ruthlessness, Raavan was not devoid of compassion. As a ruler, he ensured that Lanka thrived and his people lived in prosperity. His subjects revered him for his strength and intellect, and he ruled with an iron fist tempered by occasional kindness. Within his family, Raavan's relationships were fraught with contradictions. He loved his brothers, Kumbhakarn and Vibhishan, but his arrogance often strained their bonds. He cherished his sister, Shurpankha, but his decision to kill her husband, Vidyutjev, created a rift that would never heal. Raavan's story is a testament to the thin line between greatness and hubris. Raavan's life is a tapestry of triumphs and tragedies, virtues and vices. He was a king, a scholar, a devotee, and a warrior. His story serves as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the enduring power of dharma over adharma. As we journey through the Ramayan, Raavan's presence looms large, a symbol of both the heights to which a soul can rise and the depths to which it can fall. His life, filled with divine blessings and human flaws, continues to captivate and inspire, a testament to the complexity of existence itself.
In the next episode, we will witness how this news reaches Raavan and the fateful decisions he makes in response. Join me as we continue this epic saga of love, sacrifice, and dharma. Thank you for listening to the Ramayan stories of Dharm and Devotion. Please share this podcast with your loved ones, and may its timeless lessons inspire your journey. While we may not know exactly what happened, this eternal story of the Ramayan serves as a guide for how we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day lives. Until next time, may the light of Dharma guide your path and fill your heart with peace.